Hey, what's up guys? It's Luke, and I just wanted to briefly talk about the HBO miniseries Chernobyl. I finished it about a week and a half ago, and I keep thinking about it because it's one of the best things I've seen on TV recently. It is really, really good. The only thing is, they're supposed to be Russian, but everyone in the show has like a British accent, so that took me about half an episode to get over. But once I got over that, it was great. It was really well done, really realistic, and I just want to talk about like a few things, some of my thoughts about the series as a whole. First of all, I've been watching a lot of reactions to people watching Chernobyl. I love watching reaction videos. They're just so much fun. And it's crazy, I grew up in the 80s, and when I was a kid, I never heard about Chernobyl. It wasn't something I heard about on the news. I was too young. I think I was about 7 years old. I actually remember 1986. There was an expo in Canada that I went to. I remember buying Topps baseball cards in 1986 and just loving life back then. Totally blissful of the knowledge that Chernobyl actually happened. My parents didn't mention anything to me about Chernobyl, but realistically, that did not happen too long ago. It's within a lot of our lifetimes. It's not far away from our lifetimes, and if you were born after that, the repercussions of Chernobyl could have been extremely disastrous for the world. But yet, here we are today. And I think the repercussions were really terrible and are still terrible. But it could have been so much worse. And the TV show really sort of drives that point home really well. I think we really got lucky. I think the Russians, the Soviet Union back then, they did an admirable job of cleaning up and getting that cleaned up, especially with the cost of life that it took. So hats off to the heroes who basically saved the world. In this day and age, you have to have a show that looks really good. It can't be shot poorly. Things have to be technically really good looking, spot on, and this is technically amazing. The color palette that they used is really bleak, stark, and cold, and it worked really, really well for this particular show. Also, the effects were just incredible. I didn't think we were actually going to see up close the explosions because in the first episode, the Chernobyl does the meltdown, there's an explosion, there's a fire, but you don't really get a sense of that exact moment that happened. Well, surprise, surprise, the last episode, they go step by step what happened during that day, second by second, and you get to see the explosion. They kind of recreate it. You get to see the rods moving up and down, bouncing up and down like crazy. That's an effect that I don't think you could have gotten years ago. It would have cost a lot of money to recreate that effect. They did it for this show. It was impressive. It freaked me out because I can just imagine me being the nuclear scientist watching all the control rods going up and down like I've never seen before. That was incredible. And just seeing the explosion happen, whatever budget they spent it well. They did the effects really well, and it added to the show so much. So I think this show, Chernobyl, they did such an awesome job with the effects, with shooting it. They just did a bang-up job. I would say, a friend asked me, is this show really political? Does it have like an agenda that they're trying to get you to think in a certain way? And I would say it doesn't. It's about the Soviet Union, but they don't really mention anything about, they do mention a little bit about politics and so forth, but it's not beaten down on your head, It's really about the human cost of what happened during Chernobyl and about what happened, how it was tried to be covered up. It was about who saved everyone from the meltdown. They don't beat you over the head with politics, which I really, really appreciate because it seems like everything is so political nowadays. This series just shows you the human impact that this big disaster had on the Soviet Union and in the world. and on individual lives. And that was what really made this story personal. Okay, even though I wasn't there, it felt really, really personal. Like it could have happened to me, it could have happened to a friend of mine. That's what made this movie awesome. They weren't trying to say, communism is bad, the United States is the best, the West is the best, the East is the worst, nothing like that. I didn't feel that there was any agenda to this miniseries, and that's something that I thought was really cool just because so many things are political nowadays. There's so many agendas flying around. I really truly believe they were just trying to be as accurate as possible to the events of Chernobyl, and in doing so, they kind of honored the material, and they did a stunning, stunning job. If you have not seen Chernobyl yet, you got to watch Chernobyl. It is just so good. I highly recommend it. I'd love to talk to you about it. Give me your thoughts on Chernobyl. What did you think of the miniseries? Hopefully you watched it and enjoyed it as much as I did. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time.